As the sun sets over the South China Sea, the sport that never sleeps is alert and raring to go. Welcome, under the bright lights of the Marina Bay Circuit, to another Singapore Grand Prix. It's a very long, very physical lap, this one, and really there's not much in the way of margin for error. So we have a bit of an endurance race for you tonight. The Marina Bay Street Circuit then has 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right, taking us a total of 3.1 miles around the landmarks of downtown Singapore. An average lap speed around here, just 107 miles per hour. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Let me ask you about Racing Point. They haven't had a single retirement in the last 10 races. What do you make of the car's reliability?
I think they can be fairly pleased with that record so far. The first thing any good car needs is a solid, reliable base with which to build on, and they seem to have that this season.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Nielsen lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Magnussen, Romain Grosjean and Norris, Sainz, Kvyat, Stroll and Sebastian Vettel, Weber, Hamilton, Devon Butler and Verstappen, Bottas, Hülkenberg, Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly. Raikkonen and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go.
Jeff here, just a quick radio check. Can you hear me? Right, we're hoping for another podium this weekend. Let's go out there and get a result. Okay, go through all the gears if you can. We need to make sure the engagement is okay before the start. We're going to want to put some temperature into the tyres and brakes. We need to keep the engine cool though, so don't go too high with the revs. No threat of rain for the time being. Conditions looking good. Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch. That's a decent start. Good job. Some of this energy. We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the meet. We're not going to be able to run in this. Racing on the exit. Release, release. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Great work. That's a new fastest lap for the race. Nice work, that brings you up a place. Fantastic! You've won the Grand Prix.
Red Bull pulling out all the stops today. What a great win. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Nielsen increases their championship lead. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. And it's another title in the bag for Red Bull. After a long and hard-fought season, They built an astonishing car this year, and the glory they'll be taking back to Milton Keynes is fully deserved. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend.